Did you know that you can make an impact when you use intonations when you ask questions? Well, how did that sound? When you ask questions, did you know that you should raise or lower your voice in the end, depending on the kind of questions? Well, let's look at what this is and why you should do it. Hi, I'm Ajit from Capshine. Capshine is a revolutionary learn it together English fluency program. With Capshine, learning English is easy, quick, fun, affordable, and effective. And we promise a brand new you in 6 months or less. So what are intonations? Well, this is the rise or fall of voice. This conveys expressive meanings. And we're going to look at 2 specific types related to asking questions. There are more instances where intonations are used. We will look at that over the next few videos, right? So today we're going to look at 2 types of intonations specific to questions. How would I say this? Do you like living in India? Notice how my intonation went up towards the end. However, what are you thinking about? My intonation went down towards the end. And there is a rule to this. This ensures that there's consistency in the way you communicate, and also there are rules governing when you should raise your voice in the end or lower your voice in the end. Let's look at what those rules are. So, you raise your voice in the end when your question is trying to get a yes or a no answer. For example, have you lived here long? Have you lived here long? Notice how my intonation goes up. Yet, when I say, are you feeling okay? Again, my intonation goes up. And someone would answer this by giving a yes or a no response, right? Will you join us for the movie? Will you join us for the movie? Again, the rise in intonation towards the end helps the listener know that you're expecting a yes or a no answer. And of course, would you like some cake? Would you like some cake? This again shows that you want a yes or no answer. So for all questions which expect a yes or a no answer, you would raise your pitch or your intonation towards the end, right? You would also raise the intonation in the end when you're trying to clarify or confirm something. For example, you like your coffee black, don't you? Don't you? Notice how the intonation rose in the end, and the answer to this would be yes, I do, or of course, or no, not really, right? All of these again are there to clarify or check information. This is easy, isn't it? Right? So again, you're checking, you're clarifying something and ensuring the other person is on board with you, right? A simple yes or a no would be enough to answer this. We aren't expected to finish the content by Friday, are we? So here we are trying to ensure that we are on the same page, checking that the information you have is correct. Again, you're checking or clarifying to ensure both you and the other person are on the same page. For all of these situations and for yes or no situations, you use raising or rising intonation in the end. Before we go into the other rules, I want to quickly introduce you to Capshine's revolutionary Learn It Together model. With this, you get access to speaking and practicing opportunities with groups. You get to learn with a group, and also you get a personal coach who gives you personalized feedback. You have micro lessons and challenges that help you build your foundation, and of course live classes where you can get your doubts solved live with a coach. Great, let's look at the other rule. When do we make our intonations fall when we are asking questions? Well, one of the situations is for WH questions. For example, where are you going for vacation? Where are you going for vacation? Notice how my intonation fell. The rise was here, but the intonation fell in the end. When did you arrive? When did you arrive? Similarly, the intonation fell towards the end. Why is all the cake missing? Again, notice how the intonation fell towards the end. Who am I supposed to meet? Or who am I supposed to meet? The intonation fell again when there was a WH question. And that's how you're supposed to vary your sound and pitch when asking WH questions. Make the pitch taper down towards the end. You also lower or you have a falling end when asking how questions. For example, how long does it take to reach Paris? Notice how I didn't give stress to Paris because I'm concerned about the time it takes rather than anything else. So how long does it take to reach Paris? Question mark, right? So no raise here. In fact, it falls when it comes to Paris. Similarly, how are you still awake? Or how are you still awake? Notice how there's a falling intonation in the end. And of course, how many people do we need? Or how many people do we need? Depending on what your focus is. You will let the intonation fall towards the end. Let's review this and see which of these questions will have falling and which of these will have rising intonations. Parvati isn't going to be at the party, is she? Notice how you're clarifying, checking for information. So obviously your intonation goes up. What are you going to do after quitting your job? Do I stress or do I raise in the end, or do I instead lower it in the end? If your answer is lower it, you're absolutely right. It should be intoned. What are you going to do after quitting your job? That's how you let the intonation slide. That's a falling intonation. And how about this? This is not a WH or a how question. Have you paid the bills? Notice how the intonation rose. Why? Because it's a yes or a no answer. And for such situations, you let the intonation rise in the end. And of course, intonations aren't that difficult, are they? Notice how I am clarifying with you, and it's a yes or a no question. Therefore, the intonation rises with this. Great! I hope you found this video useful. Ensure that you use the right intonations that we saw today in your everyday conversations as well to make an impact in your communication. If you like the video, make sure you like and subscribe. Hit the bell notification to not miss videos like this. And of course, don't forget to check out your 30-day free trial with Capshine at capshine.com or at the Capshine app in your Play Store. Thanks for watching.